sky was burning, ships were falling from the stars. Broken and on fire, explosions shook the ground. Turning night into red light amid the chaos, an alien mother ran, clutching her newborn child close to her chest. Her breath was weak, her body was bleeding. But she did not stop, every step was heavy. Yet her arms tightened around the baby. She knew she had only moments left. Behind her, machines searched the ruins. Tall and sharp like walking skeletons, they moved without pity, their red eyes cutting through the smoke. Soldiers followed, armed with black rifles, hunting her like an animal. Her people had betrayed her. She had trusted them once, but now they wanted her baby dead. Because this child was different. This child was hope, and hope was dangerous. The mother staggered into the ruins of an old human base. The place was broken, walls shattered, metal twisted. She coughed blood and leaned against the wall. But she kept moving, the baby cried softly, glowing faint blue through the cloth. The glow made the machines turn their heads, searching. The mother pressed forward into the shadows. Her eyes desperate, her heart racing, then she saw him. A lone human soldier sat in the dark, his gun broken, his arm bleeding. He looked like he had already given up. His eyes were tired, his body shaking. He was just waiting for the end. But when the alien mother entered, he raised his head. Shocked, their eyes met. Human and alien, two enemies brought together by war. The soldier reached for a rock, thinking she was here to kill him. But the alien mother fell to her knees before him. Her voice was weak, trembling. She held out the baby wrapped in glowing cloth. "Please," she whispered, "save her." The soldier froze. He did not understand. This alien, this enemy, was giving him her child. Her hands shook. Her body collapsed forward, but she pushed the baby into his arms. "Promise me," she begged, her lips bleeding. "Protect her." "No matter what." The soldier's hands trembled as he held the child. He looked down at the small face, eyes glowing faint blue. The baby reached up with tiny fingers, touching his chin. For the first time in days, the soldier felt warmth in his chest, not fear, not anger, something else, something human. The mother gave one last breath, her body falling still, her eyes dimmed. But they never left the baby. In that final moment, she smiled. Her last choice was made. The soldier looked around, heart pounding. He wanted to drop the baby, to run. But footsteps echoed through the ruins. The machines were coming closer, their red eyes glowing through the smoke. The human soldier held the baby tight, his mind screaming, "Why me? Why this child?" He had fought in this war. He had killed aliens. He had lost friends. He had lost his reason to live, but now in his arms was life. And the dying mother had trusted him, a human, to guard it. The baby whimpered, and suddenly the glow spread stronger. The walls around them shivered with strange energy. The soldier's wounds stopped bleeding for a moment. His pain eased, he gasped, looking at the baby in disbelief. This was no ordinary child. This child carried power, power that could change everything. The footsteps grew louder. The machines were inside the base now. Their steel claws scraped the floor, their voices cold and empty. The soldier pressed his back to the wall. Clutching the baby tight, he had two choices. He could leave the baby here with the dead mother and maybe survive. Or he could run with the child, risk his life, and carry a burden he never asked for. The baby looked at him with glowing eyes, her tiny hand still holding his uniform. For the first time in a long time, the soldier felt needed. He closed his eyes, breathing hard. The mother's last words echoed in his mind, "Promise me. Protect her." The soldier opened his eyes as the machines stepped into the room, their weapons raised, ready to fire. The baby glowed brighter, as if waiting for his decision. The soldier whispered under his breath, "I don't know why she chose me, but I won't let you die." He grabbed his broken weapon, pulled the baby close, and ran into the fire behind him. The machines screamed. The chase had begun. The war was no longer just between humans and aliens. Now it was about one soldier, one child, and a promise made in blood. The soldier ran through the ruins, holding the alien baby tight behind him. Machines screamed, their claws smashing stone and steel. Red beams of light cut through the smoke, hunting him. He could feel the baby's tiny heartbeat against his chest. Quick and strong, every step echoed like thunder. Every breath burned his throat, but he did not stop. The base walls collapsed around him, metal crashing to the floor. Dust filled his lungs, but he pushed forward. He had no plan, no map, only one thought in his head: escape. The baby gave a soft cry, and suddenly the air around them shimmered. For a brief moment, a wall of light appeared. Blocking the machines, the soldier froze. Staring in disbelief, the baby had done this. The machines slammed into the barrier, their claws sparking against invisible force. But cracks spread quickly. The barrier was fading. The soldier knew this child was more than flesh and blood. The glow was not only light, it was power. And power like this was dangerous, he remembered the alien mother's words. Her blood on her lips, her final request. Protect her. He clenched his teeth. Holding the child closer, he would not fail. Outside the ruins, the battlefield stretched like a graveyard. Burned ships lay broken. Human and alien bodies scattered in silence. The air was filled with the stench of smoke and ash. Above, alien warships floated like black mountains. Blocking the stars, human fighters were gone. Destroyed or retreated, the soldier was alone, and now he was carrying the most hunted life in the galaxy. He found an old transport tunnel leading away from the battlefield. The ceiling was cracked, wires hanging like dead vines. But it was shelter. He stepped into the darkness. Footsteps echoing in the empty tunnel. For a moment, he thought they had escaped, but then voices whispered in the shadows. Not machine voices, but human. A group of survivors emerged. Human scavengers dressed in worn armor. Their rifles pointed at him. The soldier raised his hand slowly. The baby still in his arms, the leader, a tall man with a scar across his eye, laughed. Well, look at this. One broken soldier, and he's carrying treasure. The soldier frowned, tightening his grip on the baby. What do you mean? He asked, his voice rough. The scavenger's eyes glowed with greed. Word spreads fast. They say the last alien heir is alive, worth more than a fleet. He reached out his hand. Give it to me. The soldier stepped back, shaking his head. She's not for sale. The scavenger smirked. Then you'll die here. Guns clicked. Metal echoed. The soldier's heart pounded. He had no weapon strong enough to fight them. But then the baby's glow returned, brighter than before. A pulse of energy spread through the tunnel like a wave. The scavengers cried out, dropping their rifles. Sparks jumping from their hands. Lights burst above them, wires exploding in fire. The baby's eyes opened, deep glowing blue, and for a moment, the tunnel was filled with silence. The scavengers fell to their knees, fear on their faces. The leader's voice shook. It's true. The child of the stars. Some bowed their heads, others crawled backward in terror. The soldier stood frozen, feeling the child's warmth against his chest. He realized the truth. This baby was not only important, she was sacred, and both humans and aliens would kill for her. He ran past the stunned scavengers, deeper into the tunnel. Their whispers followed him. She is the heir. She will change everything. The soldier's mind spun with questions. Why had the alien mother chosen him, a human, to guard something so powerful? Why not her own people? But there was no time for answers, only survival. Hours later, the soldier reached the end of the tunnel. A ruined transport station stood silent. Dust covering the floor, he collapsed against a wall. Holding the baby close, his body ached, his wounds burned. But when he looked down at her, he felt something strange. She was calm now, her glow fading to a soft pulse. Her tiny hand held onto his shirt, like she trusted him completely. He whispered softly, Why me? I'm no hero. I couldn't even save my own squad. The baby's eyes blinked open, glowing faintly in the dark. Her lips moved, making a small sound. It was not crying, not random noise. It was a word, clear and soft. Father. The soldier froze, his breath caught in his throat. His eyes widened in shock. The baby had spoken, not alien tongue, not strange sound, but human language. She had called him father. Tears filled his eyes. But he quickly wiped them away. The machines were still hunting. The scavenger still whispering. The galaxy itself would come for this child. But she had chosen him just as her mother had. And now the soldier knew he could not turn back in the distance. The roar of engines echoed through the broken station. Enemy ships were landing, metal claws scraping the earth. The baby's glow returned, brighter than ever. The soldier stood. Clutching her tight, he whispered, Then I will be your father, and I will keep my promise. The station shook as the hunters closed in. The escape had only begun, and the galaxy had just realized. The child of the stars was alive. The night was silent, but the soldier could not sleep. He sat in the corner of an abandoned shelter, holding the alien child close. Her soft glow lit the cracked walls, chasing away the darkness. Every time he closed his eyes, he remembered the mother's last words, protect her. That promise was now carved into his soul. The soldier's arm still bled from old wounds. His body weak from running, he tore a piece of cloth and tied it tight. But the blood would not stop. Pain burned through him, making his vision blur. The child stirred. Sensing his suffering, her tiny hand touched his arm. A faint blue light spread from her skin into his wound. The soldier gasped as the pain vanished. Before his eyes, the torn flesh closed, leaving only a faint scar. He stared at the child in shock. "What are you?" he whispered. The baby only looked back with wide, glowing eyes. To her, he was the only world she knew. But the soldier now understood a dark truth. Her blood was not just life, it was power. And power like this could save or destroy. The next day, he searched for supplies in the ruins. Food, water, anything to keep them alive. But as he moved, he noticed shadows following him. Not machines this time, but cloaked figures. They stepped out. Robes torn yet marked with strange alien symbols. Their eyes glowed faintly in the dim light. The soldier raised his weapon, ready to fight. But one of them lifted his hand slowly. "We are not your enemy," the figure said. Voice deep and calm, "We are the keepers, guardians of the old blood." The soldier narrowed his eyes. "Old blood?" The figure pointed to the child. "She carries the blood of queens, the last heir of our world." The soldier's grip tightened on the baby. "And what do you want from her?" The cloaked alien bowed his head. "To guide her, to prepare her for what is coming." The soldier shook his head. "No, her mother gave her to me. She trusted me, not you." The keepers looked at one another, then back at him. "Do you even know why she trusted you?" one asked. The soldier frowned but said nothing. The alien continued. "Because only humans can resist the curse hidden in her blood." The soldier blinked. Confused, the keeper explained. "Her power is pure, but when awakened, it brings corruption, it breaks minds, it bends wills. No alien can hold it without falling to madness." He stepped closer, eyes fixed on the baby. "But humans are different. You are not bound by our blood. That is why her mother placed her in your hands." The soldier felt his chest tighten. He looked down at the child, who rested calmly against him. Could it be true? Had he been chosen not by chance, but by design? The keepers bowed. "She is the bridge. Between your kind and ours, she may unite or she may destroy. It depends on how she is raised." Before the soldier could reply, a scream echoed through the ruins. Blaster fire lit the sky, red beams tearing stone apart. Mercenaries poured into the broken streets. Armored and armed, they had been hunting too. And now they had found him. The soldier ran, clutching the child. The keepers scattered into the shadows, their robes vanishing into smoke. The mercenaries shouted, "Get the baby! Alive if possible, dead if not." Bullets and beams cut through the walls as the soldier ducked into alleys. Explosions followed, the ground shaking under his feet. The baby began to cry, her glow rising again. The soldier begged, "Shh, please, stay quiet." But her wails only grew louder. Suddenly, light burst from her skin, blasting outward in a wave. The mercenaries screamed as their weapons fried in their hands. Sparks raining, some collapsed, clutching their heads, eyes bleeding. The soldier shielded the baby, feeling the shock burn his skin. When the light faded, silence fell. Bodies lay scattered, weapons broken, walls scorched. The baby whimpered softly, exhausted. The soldier looked at her in fear and awe. If this was only a fragment of her power, what would happen when she grew stronger? He held her tight, whispering, "No matter what, I won't let them take you." But then, in the corner of his vision, movement stirred. The cloaked keepers returned, watching from the shadows. Their voices carried across the ruins. "You see now," one said, "her blood can heal, and her blood can kill. The future rests in her hands. And in yours." The soldier turned away. His jaw tight, he would not hand her over. Not to scavengers, not to mercenaries, not even to the keepers. She was his responsibility now. Not because of her power, not because of her blood, but because she had called him one word. "Father." He disappeared into the night, carrying the child close. The keepers whispered to each other as he vanished. "Protect her, human, for if she ever cries in true despair, the stars themselves may bleed." The soldier did not hear their warning. He only heard the child's steady breath as she slept in his arms. But deep inside he felt it. This was only the beginning. The galaxy was already stirring, and soon, everyone would come hunting for the secret of her blood. The soldier had been running for days. Every ruined city looked the same. Burned walls, broken towers, smoke still rising into the sky. He carried the alien child close to his chest. never letting her out of his sight. Her glow had dimmed now, faint and soft, but he could feel her power waiting. It was always there, quiet like a sleeping fire, and he knew others could sense it too. One evening, while hiding in the shell of an old human bunker, he heard voices outside. They were human voices, rough and tired but alive. The soldier raised his weapon and watched from the shadows. A group of survivors entered the bunker, wearing mismatched armor, carrying old rifles. Their leader was a woman with short hair and sharp eyes. She lifted her hands when she saw him. "We're not here to fight," she said, her voice calm. "We've seen you carrying that baby, and we want to help." The soldier studied them carefully. His instincts screamed caution, but his body was exhausted. He needed food, water, and rest. The woman stepped forward, her tone almost gentle. "We know what you carry. The child is important and dangerous, but you don't have to protect her alone." The soldier hesitated, then lowered his weapon slowly. For the first time in days, he allowed himself to hope that maybe, just maybe, there were allies. They gave him food and clean water. They wrapped his wounds, speaking kindly. The child slept peacefully in his arms as the survivors shared their fire. For a moment it almost felt safe, almost. But safety was an illusion. Late in the night, when the soldier drifted into uneasy sleep, he woke to the sound of whispers. He did not move, he only listened. The survivors were speaking in low voices at the edge of the fire. "Worth more than fleets," one man said. "The aliens will pay for her, and so will the human commanders," another voice hissed. "Quiet. If he hears," the woman's sharp voice cut through them. "We deliver the baby tomorrow, we'll be rich." He's just a broken soldier clinging to a lie. The soldier's chest grew cold. He realized the truth. It was not kindness that brought them here. It was greed. When the fire burned low, he stood and held the baby close. Her tiny hand clutched his uniform as if she sensed his fear. He whispered, "Don't worry, I won't let them take you." But before he could move, the woman's voice rang out. "Going somewhere?" Figures rose from the shadows. Rifles raised, eyes hard, the soldier stepped back. His weapon in one hand, the baby in the other. "Don't do this," he warned. "She's not a prize. She's a child." The woman smirked coldly. "No, she's power, and power is never free." The standoff shattered as gunfire erupted. The soldier dived behind cover, shielding the baby. Bullets tearing stone around him. He fired back with shaky hands, taking down one attacker, but there were too many. The baby cried, her glow building, light spreading through the bunker. The ground shook, metal screamed. Suddenly, a wave of energy burst outward, throwing the survivors against the walls. Some screamed, some fell silent, their weapons melting in their hands. The woman rose again, her face pale but her eyes burning with greed. "Monster," she spat. "That thing isn't a child, it's a weapon." The soldier stood, holding the glowing baby close, his voice rough. "She is not a weapon. She's my daughter." The woman raised her gun again, but before she could fire, shadows moved through the doorway. Figures in dark armor stepped inside, their helmets marked with alien symbols. Their blades shimmered with cold light. The survivors froze, terror spreading across their faces. The armored figures did not attack them. Instead, they fell to one knee before the child. Their leader's voice echoed like steel. "At last, the queen has returned." The soldier's blood ran cold. The baby's glow softened as if she knew them. The armored aliens bowed their heads deeply. "Daughter of the last throne, we are your servants." The soldier held her tighter, his mind spinning. He had spent days running from machines, mercenaries and scavengers. Now these killers knelt before her as if she was their ruler. The woman survivor stared, her voice shaking with awe and fear. "Queen? She's their queen?" The soldier's jaw clenched. The word echoed in his mind. Queen, heir, destiny, none of it mattered to him. To him she was still only a child who trusted him. But he knew one thing for certain now. The galaxy would never leave her alone. The armored leader looked up, eyes burning through the mask. "We will take her now," he said firmly. The soldier raised his weapon, his body tense. "No," he whispered. "She stays with me." The air grew heavy, silence stretched like a blade. On one side, greedy survivors, on the other, kneeling assassins calling her queen. And in the middle, one human soldier holding a child who could change the galaxy. The baby's eyes glowed brighter. Her tiny voice broke the silence with one soft word. "Father." The soldier tightened his grip, his voice steady. Then come for her if you dare. The night was broken by fire in the skies. Warships clashed above the ruins, beams of red and blue tearing the clouds. The soldier held the alien child close as the ground shook. He had escaped the assassins, escaped the greedy survivors. But only barely. Everywhere he turned, someone was hunting the child. Humans called her a weapon. Aliens called her a queen. But to him, she was simply his daughter. They found shelter in the wreck of an old transport ship. Its hull was cracked, its engines burned, but it gave them cover. The soldier lit a small fire. Feeding the baby from the last of his rations, she drank quietly, her glowing eyes watching him as if she understood his fear. The soldier whispered, "You don't need a throne. You only need to live," but deep inside, he knew the galaxy would never allow that. Word of the child was spreading. Whispers carried by scavengers, mercenaries, and deserters. They spoke of a baby who could heal wounds with her blood. A baby who could destroy soldiers with a cry. Some called her hope, others called her doom. And factions began to rise. Some humans swore she must die. Others believed she was salvation. Alien remnants prepared armies, desperate to reclaim their heir. The storm of war was gathering, and she was at the center. The soldier did not want prophecy, he wanted peace. But fate was not listening one night. While he rested inside the broken ship, the air grew heavy. The child began to cry in her sleep. Glowing brighter with every tear, the soldier held her close, rocking her gently. "Shh, it's all right. I'm here," he whispered, but her cry grew louder. Shaking the metal walls outside, thunder rolled through the sky was clear. The wreck around them trembled, bolts snapping loose. Then the prophecy returned to his mind, the words of the cloaked keepers. If she cries in true despair, a star will die. The soldier's heart raced. He covered her with his jacket, begging softly, "Please don't cry. You're safe, I swear." Slowly, her glow dimmed, her tears faded. The storm outside went silent, but in that moment, the soldier realized the danger was not only enemies, the danger was her power itself. If her emotions could shake the sky, what else could they do? At dawn he moved again, but this time he was not alone. More humans found him. This time soldiers, scarred veterans who once fought beside him. Their leader, Captain Rains, stepped forward. His voice was rough but not unkind. "You're carrying the alien child," he said. The soldier tightened his grip. "She's mine." Rains shook his head. "She belongs to no man. She belongs to survival. You think you can protect her alone? You'll fail. Let us help." The soldier's chest burned with doubt. He wanted to believe them, to trust, but betrayal had already cut him once. He remembered greedy survivors who spoke of wealth. He remembered cloaked keepers whispering of prophecy. He remembered assassins bowing to a throne. Now his old brothers in arms looked at him with the same hunger. Different words, same eyes. The child reached out with her tiny hand, touching his cheek. Her glow was soft this time, calm and warm. The soldier breathed slowly, trying to believe. But before he could answer Rains, the ground shook violently. Engines roared in the sky, a human fleet descended. Armored carriers landing across the wasteland. Hundreds of soldiers marched out, their rifles shining in the sunlight. They were not here to help, they were here to take. A voice rang from the loudspeakers. "Hand over the alien heir, or be destroyed." The soldiers at Rains's side looked at him, fear mixing with greed. The captain's jaw clenched. "If we give her up, maybe they'll spare us." The soldier's heart froze. Once again, allies were ready to turn against him. Once again, the child's life was treated like a coin to be traded. The baby began to cry again, her glow rising fast. The soldier pressed her to his chest, whispering, "No, please, not now." But the glow spread wider, waves of light pulsing out. The sky darkened, thunder roared. Soldiers dropped their weapons, covering their ears. The earth split open with cracks of fire. The prophecy was alive. The fleet above trembled as one ship's engines exploded. It fell burning into the wasteland, shaking the ground like an earthquake. Screams filled the air. The soldier shielded the child. Desperate to calm her, he whispered again and again, "It's all right, I'm here. I won't leave you." Slowly, her glow dimmed. Her cries faded to soft breaths. The storm died. The earth grew still, but the damage was done. The fleet was in chaos. Soldiers screaming of prophecy. Some dropped to their knees, calling her a goddess. Others shouted that she was death itself, and war exploded among them. Brother turned against brother. Humans killing humans. Not for land, not for survival, but for a child who had not yet learned to walk. The soldier stood in the center of the storm, holding her tight, his voice rough but steady. You are not a weapon. You are not a queen, you are my daughter, and I'll burn the stars before I let them take you. Above them, warships circled like vultures on the ground. Armies clashed in blood and fire. The galaxy itself was tearing apart, and in the middle of it all, a human soldier and an alien child stood together. The rising storm had begun. The galaxy was breaking apart. The child's cry had shaken fleets, split armies, and planted fear into every heart. Whispers traveled faster than ships, faster than light. They say the alien heir is alive. They say she can kill with a single cry. They say she can heal the dying with her touch. To some, she was hope, to others she was doom, and soon, both humans and aliens moved their armies ready for war. The soldier watched the chaos from the shadows of a ruined outpost. He held the child close, her glow dim under the cloak he wrapped her in. She was older now, not yet walking fully, but stronger, her eyes sharper. She no longer only cried, she spoke in soft words. Half human, half alien. Sometimes she called him father. Other times she whispered words in her mother's language. Words the soldier could not understand, and each time, the air around them trembled with quiet power. The soldier whispered to himself, I have to keep her safe, even from herself. But safety was impossible now. Every star system was choosing sides. Some human fleets swore they would destroy the child before she could unite the aliens. Other human commanders believed she was a weapon that must be captured and used. Meanwhile, alien remnants gathered, declaring she was their queen. The galaxy's war was no longer between two species. It was between those who believed in the child and those who feared her. One night, the soldier met with the keepers again, the robed aliens who had once warned him. They appeared in the ruins like shadows, their voices low and heavy. The storm has come, they said. The child must choose her path. The soldier shook his head. She's just a child. She doesn't need destiny. She needs peace, but the keepers only bowed. Peace will never come, not until her choice is made. Not until she decides if she is human or alien. The soldier looked at his daughter. Sleeping in his arms, she was both and yet neither. Her blood carried alien power, but her heart trusted only him. How could she choose when she did not even understand the world yet? The thought tore at him, but there was no time. Engines roared in the distance, shaking the ground. The war had found them again. A human battalion marched into the ruins, their banners flying behind them. Alien ships descended, warriors pouring out. Two armies, human and alien, meeting on the same battlefield. And both wanted the same thing, the child. The soldier stood frozen, trapped in the center. If he ran to the humans, they would chain her as a weapon. If he gave her to the aliens, they would crown her as a queen. He trusted neither, and yet, he could not fight both. The child stirred. Opening her glowing eyes, she looked at the armies with calm innocence. Her voice small but clear, Father, why do they fight? The soldier's chest tightened. He could not answer. How could he explain war, greed, and fear to someone so pure? The battle erupted. Gunfire and energy beams cut the night apart. Explosions tearing the ground. Humans fought aliens with rage. Aliens fought humans with vengeance. But both sides shouted the same words, find the child. Take the heir. Do not let her escape. The soldier ducked into the rubble, running with the child in his arms. He heard her whisper softly, Am I human? Or alien? The soldier's throat burned, but he answered, You are my daughter. That is enough. But even as he said it, he saw her eyes flicker with doubt. She could feel it, the pull of two worlds, the weight of destiny pressing down on her small shoulders. In the sky above, a massive fleet appeared. Ships from both species, drawn by the same signal. The war of two worlds had reached its breaking point, and at the center of it all was a child who barely understood her own name. The soldier found cover in a broken tower. He looked at her with desperate eyes. I don't care what they call you. I don't care what they want, you are mine. And I'll fight them all if I must. The baby touched his face with her small hand. Her glow spread, healing his scars once again. Her voice trembled, Father? I don't want to hurt anyone. The soldier pulled her close. Then you don't have to. I'll carry the burden for you. But deep down he knew the truth. Her power was not something he could shield her from forever. Soon she would have to face it. Soon she would have to choose. Outside, the armies clashed harder. The sound of war filled the night, explosions, screams, steel against steel. The soldier gritted his teeth. He was just one man, one broken soldier, but he had made a promise to a dying mother, and he would keep it until his last breath. The child looked out at the battlefield. Her glowing eyes reflecting fire and smoke, she whispered softly, as if to herself, "Both worlds call for me." Her hand brushed over a broken star map lying on the ground. The lights on the map flickered, then blazed to life. Across the galaxy, ships answered her touch. Fleets that had slept for centuries. Fleets hidden in forgotten systems. Their engines roared as they awoke. Drawn by her blood, by her voice, the soldiers stared in horror and awe. The child had not chosen yet, but already, both worlds were answering her call. The War of Two Worlds was no longer just a battle. It was the beginning of something far greater, something that could unite or destroy the stars themselves. The galaxy burned. Human fleets clashed with alien armadas. Stars became battlefields and entire worlds trembled under fire. But none of it mattered compared to the small child standing in the ruins of an ancient temple. Her glow lit the stones, her tiny hands raised. Her voice carrying across the battlefield like thunder. Ships obeyed her call. Armies froze at her command. She was no longer only a baby. No longer only a daughter, she was destiny. The soldier stood at her side. His weapon broken, his body scarred, but his spirit unshaken. He had promised her mother that he would protect her. And he had kept that promise through fire and blood. Now he faced the impossible. Two armies, human and alien, surrounded them. Some bowed to the child, calling her queen. Others raised their rifles, calling her a curse. The air was heavy with fear and devotion, greed and faith. And in the center of it all, the soldier whispered only one thing. "You are my daughter." Not their weapon. The alien generals stepped forward, their voices cold. "She is our blood, our throne. Hand her over, human, or be crushed." The human commanders shouted back, "She belongs to Earth. She is the weapon that will save us. Surrender her now." The soldier raised his weapon, though his hands shook. "She belongs to no one, not you, not them. Only herself," the armies roared, preparing to strike. But before the first shot was fired, the child's voice rang out. Her words were not only human, not only alien, they were both spoken in harmony. "Stop," she said, her eyes glowing brighter than the stars. The ground trembled, the air cracked with energy, and for the first time both armies obeyed. The silence was terrifying. Thousands of soldiers stood frozen. Fleets held their fire. Every eye was fixed on the small child glowing in the soldier's arms. She spoke again, her voice calm but heavy with power. "You fight for me, but you do not see me. I am not your weapon, I am not your throne, I am more." Her words echoed like thunder across the battlefield. Some soldiers dropped to their knees, tears in their eyes. Others screamed in rage, unwilling to accept. The fragile balance cracked and chaos erupted once more. Blades clashed, guns fired, ships burned. The soldier fought through the storm, keeping the child close. He struck down anyone who reached for her, though his body grew weaker with every wound. Blood ran down his side, his breath ragged. But he would not let her fall, never, the child cried. Her glow rising higher, the sky itself shook. Stars flickering above them, her small voice broke into a scream, "Stop fighting!" The battlefield froze again. Soldiers collapsed in pain, unable to resist her power. Fleets trembled, engines failing. Even the ground cracked, fire bursting from the earth. The soldier dropped to his knees, holding her tight. Her power was tearing her apart, her tiny body shaking violently. He whispered into her ear, his voice weak. "Don't carry this alone, let it go, you're just a child." But she shook her head, tears glowing on her cheeks. "I don't want you to die." "Father," the soldier's heart broke. He stroked her hair gently, his own vision fading. "I will die one day, but not in vain. I made a promise to your mother, and I will keep it. You must live. Even if I fall." The child's power surged again, blasting the armies back, but she looked into his eyes, trembling. "Promise me, you won't leave." The soldier smiled through his pain. "I promise. In this life or the next, I will always be with you." His strength failed, his body collapsing, but his arms never loosened around her. He shielded her until his final breath, and in his last moment he whispered, "You are my daughter. Always." The child's cry shook the stars one final time, but this time it was not rage, not despair, it was love. The armies felt it, the fleets felt it. The galaxy itself felt it. Weapons fell silent. Soldiers dropped to their knees. The war ended not with victory, but with her voice. The soldier's body lay still, but his promise lived on in her. She stood, her glow brighter than ever. Her small hands raised, her words carried across the galaxy. No more war, no more blood. I am not your weapon. I am not your queen. I am both human and alien. I am the bridge. And I choose peace. Silence spread across the stars. Commanders lowered their weapons, fleets turned away. For the first time in generations, humans and aliens looked at each other not with hate but with something new. Hope. The child looked down at her father's still body, her voice soft. I will make you proud. And with glowing eyes she carried his memory into the future. A legend was born that day, the legend of the last promise. The promise of a dying mother, the promise of a soldier who became a father, and the promise of a child who would change the galaxy forever.